Shabbat Shalom. Allah told to everyone, and blessed be the name of the Most High God, the King of the universe, Yehovah. And welcome to another Shabbat night talk. My name is Chief Uzi Alewi. I'm one of the teachers of congregation D.C.B, located at 382 Hamilton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. I'm glad that you're here with us tonight, enjoying this Shabbat day and bringing in this Shabbat night service. I'm glad to see everyone that's in the rooms thus far, and I hope and pray that the Creator of heaven and earth, the Most High, will bless and keep you in all of your endeavors. I pray that the Most High will continue to be with all of those who seek Him in truth, and that the Most High God will continue to bless all of those who are and one in need of all things. Thanking the Creator for my life, the life of all my loved ones, the life of Yisrael scattered in the four corners of the earth. We continue to pray for our brothers and sisters from BINAH, Yisrael, and praying that the Most High God would help them in rebuilding their place, and that the Most High God will ease their pain even in the things that they're going through. We ask that the Creator will continue to be with us and bless us, protect us, keep us, guide us, and even give us the fortitude and the strength of mind to continue as the children of God, and give us a speedy recovery and a speedy return to our land, the land which He promised our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I thank the Creator for all of you once again. Shabbat Shalom to everyone that's coming on in the room. Shabbat Shalom to everyone that's joining us. I pray that the Creator continue to bless us and protects us from all harm seen and unseen, and that the Creator will continue to guide us and keep us. I hope that everyone out there, I got it for all of those who were asking about my Abba. You know, he had to do some surgery and he was in the hospital. The surgery finally was done. It seems to have been a success. Still have to wait a few days to see, you know, how the recovery is. He is a 77-year-old man, so, you know, recovery is not as fast when you are that age. But nonetheless, torah YAH, for God in the hands of the physician, for helping him out to be able to be in better health, and hopefully he will recover and be strong once again. And I pray that that he returns to full strength. He is 77 years old, but God has blessed him with his mind intact. He still, you know, he has a few little pains here and there, you know, a bum knee and things like that, but that comes with age. And I pray that the Most High God will continue to be with him and strengthen him and protect him. So that happened on Wednesday. Thank all of you out there that were praying for him, that had him in your minds. I thank you. And I'll continue to pray for him, and I hope that you will continue to pray for him as he's recovering from his surgery. I thank the name of the Most High. I bless the name of the Creator for all things and everything: food, clothing, and shelter, for family, love, respect, and all the things that are before us that we love. We can't take for granted the things that we love. So often we take for granted, you know, the people that we love and the things that we love. And we sometimes have to, well, all the time we have to be thankful for the things that we have. Family, our friends, the people that we love. And it's our spouses, our children, siblings, whatever it may be. Just be thankful to the Creator for them. Be thankful to the Creator for those people. you know, for all the people that you love, the people that you are surrounded by, that you wouldn't want to see go. You know, it's a time for all of us to go, but you don't want to see them go, you know, before the time that they're supposed to. So be thankful to the Creator for peace of mind, and for allowing you to have people around you that you love. Man, some people, they just live from one tragedy to another. So be thankful that you're not one of those type of people. Some families always have death in the midst of them, but be thankful that you might not be one of those families. So I thank the Creator for my life and the life of all of you. I had a question that I just want to put out there. As far as Torah, and sometimes we deal with emotions, and we deal with our emotions, and I get that, because sometimes people say, oh, we shouldn't be emotional, we shouldn't deal with emotions. But we're human beings, and being human beings, we are going to deal with emotions. That's part of human nature, as they said. Give me 1 second here. Part of human nature is that you're going to deal with emotions. So here's my question. How do you deal with someone that was a dear friend? Now, everything is according to Torah. Someone that was a dear friend, that, you know, you and that person, whether male or female, you know, if you had a girlfriend, or if you had a friend that you were really close to, guys were inseparable, and then all of a sudden things go sour, and then that friend or that person begins to, for lack of a better word, or lack of a better phrase, begins to assassinate your character. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? As a person, as a law-doing person, as an Israelite that strives to do that which is right, how do you deal with a person that you were inseparable with, best of friends? You know, you guys were the best. And then after that, Shabbat Shalom, Nia Edmonds. But then after that, the relationship is not that great, and that person begins to assassinate your character. Now, if you know, the Tanakh says that there's a friend that's closer than a brother, meaning that sometimes in life you come across people that you can have a blood relative, and you're not as close to your blood brother or sister as you are with this person, right? And sometimes even with your best of friends, you have fallouts. You know, you got people that have weird relationships with friends. They could tell each other the truth. They could, you know, they'll fight, but then after they fight, or they argue, or they do whatever, or they don't speak to each other for a couple of days, everything goes back to normal. They continue to be friends. They don't. It's like certain lines are not crossed, right? So you could have a friend and you argue with them, but you don't cross certain lines. You don't say certain things that are gonna be things that you can't retract back, or you can't take back, right? But then you might have someone that you're friends with that does cross that line, and then things get to the point where they're almost irreparable, you know, where you can't repair them. They become, I guess that's the right word, right? Irreparable. I hope I'm saying it right. Irreparable, or whatever, however you say it. But how do you deal with that? And then that person begins to assassinate your character. How do you deal with something like that? How do you deal with a situation like that if you are a Torah keeping Israelite? How do you deal with a person like that? The number is 347-622-9090. I want to speak to the people tonight. Let's see what y'all got to say. 347-622-9090. 347-622-9090. The question is, or the scenario is, you were really close friends, best friends with a person, and you had a fallout or you had a misunderstanding. But in the midst of the misunderstanding and the fallout, that person begins to assassinate your character. Now, you were best friends, but now all of a sudden, because you had a little fallout, a little disagreement, or you didn't see eye to eye with something, you might have had an argument or whatever. Moradina. All right, let's hear what Moradina has to say. Shabbat Shalom, Moradina.
Yes, Shabbat Shalom. I'm calling to comment.
Okay, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. According to Torah, you're supposed to approach. Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You need to mute your computer because you're hearing the feedback.
My computer or my phone?
You need to mute your computer because you're hearing the feedback on the computer. You're hearing yourself.
Okay, okay, I'm doing it.
All right. Go ahead now. You could go ahead and speak.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Torah, you're supposed to approach them and ask them why they're doing this and politely ask them to stop. The second time, you have to take it before the chief men and give a final judgment.
Right.
That's according to Torah.
Right. But and that's a perfect answer. Absolutely. But then we living in a time where we don't really have courts. People don't really respect the offices that are presented before us. People continue to do things. People use social media. There's so many avenues now that are covered. How do you deal with that from an emotional standpoint? You know what I mean, or from an emotional approach, or from a point of just us living today? Because in the land, we understand how we would deal with it. We'll bring it to the judges, and there'll be something if they continue to do that, then they're going against the word of the judges or the officers of that time. But today, where somebody could be in another state and are Israelites, and they are assassinating your character on Facebook, or tearing your name down, or doing certain things, or saying certain things, and there's really no repercussions behind it. How do you deal with it?
Well, if we're unified, because I know here in New York, there are certain congregations where you pay a fine and you're suspended.
Right.
And if they don't like that judgment, people will just get up and leave.
Right.
You have to follow Torah. It's not that you're my friend, you was my friend. Torah is Torah.
Right.
In another state, like let's say Georgia, North Carolina, they should be of like minds. You've done this, you're suspended X amount of months, and you pay a fine.
Okay.
And you give a public apology. If they don't do it, they won't be allowed to worship in that place.
Okay.
That's what we can do in our time here.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Torah. I appreciate the call.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Anybody else? 347-622-9090. 347-622-9090. What is your opinion? How should you deal with something like that? You have a person who you were really close with, best friends almost, best buddies. Then you had a fallout. You might have had an argument. It's like I gave a scenario earlier. You got some friends that they fight. I know friends that fight all the time, argue, but they won't cross that line with each other. All right, let's see who we got here. Give me a second. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Who am I speaking to? Hey, Ema, you got to mute your computer in the background because you're getting a feedback. You're going to get a feedback.
I'm down, okay.
All right.
I'm not too involved. I don't understand what you're talking about. I heard what you were saying, but the only way you deal with it, I guess, is to talk with the people, the person.
Right.
Have a talk with them.
Right.
And then talk with them in person.
Right.
And then if you don't want to listen, understand, you have somebody with you.
Right.
So you have witness.
Right.
And then go ahead and leave them alone or whatever and pray for them. And
right.
pray for yourself. To let this leave you alone. To let this get off your mind.
Okay. Ema Sarah said pray for them and just pray that they leave you alone, you know, and you continue on with yourself. Okay, Ema, that sounds good.
Yes.
That sounds good. Torah. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah.
So that was Ema Sarah. That's one of our elders. She said pray for them. What's your opinion? 347-622-9090. Because friendship, you know, friendships sometimes could be fickle. You could be friends for a long time, and then after a while, I think in one of Nas songs, he says something like best friends become foes. So sometimes your friends become your enemies, and that could be a tough thing to confront, because sometimes your friends are the ones who are closest to you. You know what I'm saying? And they know everything about you. So give me 1 second here. Got Chief Azaria coming to pay me a visit. Give me a second here. So I'm online. Yeah.
Oh, it gets dark early after you've been done, man.
Hold on, man. All right, yeah. All right, man.
I thought you doing your thing.
All right.
I thought you was done.
All right, so good.
All right.
Shabbat Shalom. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. That's my good brother, Chief Azaria. We live in the same vicinity, in the same neighborhood, and he came to knock on my door and pay me a visit. I told him I was doing the stream, you know, so he left. So thankful to the Most High. So the topic for tonight, sorry about that, but I had to answer the door. I didn't know who was at the door, but it's my close vicinity neighbor, Chief Azaria. So yeah, so there we have it. We got Ema Sarah said pray for them or whatever. You know, friendship is a fickle thing. And what I realized is true friends are with you through good or bad. Friendship could never be one-sided. And one thing you have to understand about friendship is that sometimes you're up and down with your friends, or there's an up and down with your friends. But if you're a true friend, the first thing that's a true friend is that you have to understand that a true friend is not a yes man or a yes woman. A true friend are going to tell you the truth. Now, if you don't like people to tell you the truth, then you just want you're not going to have true friends around you. If you got people that are always going to tell you were right, you know, If you're a sister and you always have a girlfriend that's going to tell you that your husband was wrong and that you were always right, then that's not a true friend. Or if you got a brother who's going to always tell you, yeah, your wife is wrong, and they can't see the wrong in you and tell you you're wrong, then that's not a true friend, because the true friend is going to tell you the truth. Whether you like to hear it or not. That's what friendship is about. You know, and a true friend is going to encourage you when you're down, and a true friend is going to be there when you're down. Those are true friends. Oh, we got Sister Edna right here. Oh, we got the calls tonight. That's why I like doing this. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Edna.
Shabbat Shalom, Chief. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, I'm good, Chief. I'm calling to weigh in on your subject.
Okay.
I had a friend. I was, you know, the older of us two.
Right.
We lived down the hall. You know, we kind of grew up together, even though I was older.
Right.
But, you know, we were friends. And she moved out of state, not far, just to Jersey, you know, Atlantic City. And she would come sometimes, and she had relatives, you know, at the time I wasn't doing law, you know, they were, right. She couldn't take them to her parents' house, you know, right. They were, one was gay, you know, so she would always bring them here, you know, and they would stay with me, you know, her sister, cousin, brother, whoever.
Right.
And it just was always a one-sided thing. You know, I was always the person that didn't want to say no, that, you know, was always there.
Right.
Whenever she called, I would answer.
Right.
But then I realized one time I got into a little trouble, like health-wise.
Right.
And so I'm calling her.
Right.
And I realized that she was never answering the phone.
Right.
And she would tell me, oh, girl, I ain't see no call from you. You know, and I'm like, this chick owns the iPhone that shows you everything. So why did you never see a call from me?
Right.
So, you know, I said, okay, I'm just going to leave her alone.
Right.
So I stopped answering after a while.
Right.
So after I did that, she called me one day on someone else's line, and she's really irate with me because I haven't been answering her.
Right.
So I said, oh, it's fine when you don't answer me, but when I don't answer you, that's a problem.
Right.
So, okay, my grandson goes down to visit with her and her son.
Right.
He's one of my oldest boys.
Right.
While my grandson is down there, she throws me under the bus. Oh, your grandmother never answers. She's not there when I need her. And I'm like, oh, well.
Wow.
And I wasn't planning on really cutting her loose until she talked about me to my grandson.
Right.
And after that, it was a done deal. But
right.
It taught me that you can't depend on other people, you know, for your happiness, for your peace of mind,
right.
All of that, you know.
Right.
You just have to cut some people loose.
Right.
It's like when you come into law,
right.
People don't really understand what you're doing.
Right.
And sometimes it's like you'll have a person that'll do something really petty to you, but you'll cut that person off, but you realize that that's a small price to pay to be rid of them. You know what I mean? So
right.
You really let people just do what they do. Let them do what they do.
Right.
But when it comes time for you to cut that person off, you cut them off, and you gotta mean it. You know,
right.
For your own sanity, for your own peace of mind.
Right.
And yeah, you know, she crosses my mind sometimes, and I wonder how she is, but it doesn't seem to me like I cross her mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey. You know,
friendship, it goes both ways.
Right, right. And that's what I was about ready to say. You know, sometimes you have friends that only see things from one side. Like you got like, and I don't know if you could even consider these people friends, but they only call you when they need money. They call you when they're in a bind. They call you when they are in need of something. You know what I'm saying? They never call you any other time, but they need money, they need this, they need that. They just don't call you when it's, you know, just to see how you doing. You know, and
unfortunately, her Emma passed away
right.
and left her a good amount of money. And she told my grandson, "Oh, your grandmother missed it. I was going to take her on a trip." And I'm like, "Whoa, she don't even look out for me in this state. I'm not leaving the state with her, going anywhere." And I found out later it was out of the country. So I'm like, "Oh, heck no. You don't go nowhere with the people
right.
on their dime talking about they don't take you somewhere
right.
and show you a good time. No. I can't hitchhike back over from across the water.
Right.
You know, how would I get home? I think
right.
about all of those things.
Right.
And my mother always told me, don't go nowhere if you don't have money to get home. If you don't have a way home, you shouldn't go."
Right. You can't depend on other people.
Go with, decide they want to do other things and do other things. I told you what time to come home. I don't want to hear about what nobody else was doing.
Right.
So if you don't have money to go, you better not come back here late.
Right.
So I don't go nowhere without my way of getting back. But
right.
You know, you just have to cut people off and wish them well.
Okay, great. Torah, Sister Edna.
Keep you looking good. I figured out a way to get you on YouTube on my TV.
Oh, okay, yeah. You could do that. That works out. All right.
All right, shalom.
Shalom, Ima. Shalom. Yeah. So, you know, like I was speaking about friendships. Friendships are a fickle thing, but through times you will see your true friends. And sometimes your true friends come in the form of family members, your sisters, your cousins. Those become, at the end of it, you know, those sometimes become your truest friends. Because siblings, although when they're younger, they fight, some tend to become closer as they get older. So you become best friends with your sister. I was trying to trick. I'll give you a funny story, right? So my mother, she doesn't drink. She doesn't do any of that stuff. You know, she goes to church and, you know, all that. I love my mother, although she's a Christian or whatever. But my mother, you know, she's my mother and she does anything for me that I ask her. And in return, I do the same. You know, my mother, sometimes I got to catch myself because I'm always bothering her and teasing her. But my mother's a jokester. And I joke with her, she jokes with me, and you know, we have a great relationship. But I was trying, her and my aunt. My aunt Sonia is like her best friend because they, you know, they grew up together. My aunt Sonia is about 6 years older than her. But as they got older, they became, you know, really close. They always were close from what I can remember. So I try to trick. So, you know, like I said, my mother doesn't drink. She doesn't do any of that. So while we were in Panama, because she went with me, I was by my, you know, we were out like watching a parade, and she was, my uncle was pouring some gin and some cranberry juice, but he just so happened to have it. He had the cup by her. So I took a picture and I was like, I'm telling my aunt that you was drinking, and I'm going to spread a bad rumor and a gossip about you to your other son, and I'm going to tell him you was down here in Panama drinking or whatever. We joke around like that. So, I mean, she'll do something like take a picture with me with like if she catch me somewhere walking and there's a pig in the background, she'll do something crazy like that. We just joke around. So when I came, I told my aunt, so I had my mother sitting in the car with me, and I had the phone through the speaker, and I'm like, yeah, I got to tell you a bochinche. A bochinche is a gossip in Spanish. That's how you say it to a person in Spanish. So I'm like, yeah, Tia, I got to tell you a bochinche. Tia is auntie. I got to tell you a bochinche. Your sister was down in Panama and she was drinking. I got the evidence. I'm going to send you the picture. So, you know, my aunt started laughing. She was like, yeah, Maybe you could have tried something else, but I know with drinking, you can't you can't convince me that your mother was drinking. You know what I'm saying? So even though it was a joke and we were laughing and we were playing around, it was like, you know, she knows her sister well enough to know that, nah, you can't tell me that about my sister. You know what I'm saying? And you won't hear my aunt speak bad about her sister, and you won't hear my mother speak bad about her sister. They became their sisters and they're best friends. You know, even if they disagree with each other, they won't talk about their disagreements to anyone else but to each other. And that's how deep their relationship go. You know, and that's how, and you know, I got friends like that. And sometimes you thought in life that you had friends like that until you hear, you know, all the things that they say about you, and then you realize that those can possibly be your true friends, and you get angry for a while, but then you get over it, because then the Most High has enlightened you and it's gotten something, a burden off you that you no longer have to carry. You know, and sometimes your true friend could be your spouse because they tell you the truth that you don't want to hear. Um, and those are the other things we have to consider. Sometimes we don't look at our spouses as being our true friends, but they have our best interests in mind. Sometimes the people that you call friends are not really your friends. They just people that cling on to you because of something that you provide or something that you do, or whenever you go out, you take care of everybody, or you you do certain things. You know, there's certain reasons to why people, you know, stick to you, and then there are true reasons to why people stick to you. You know, because you give good advice, or they could vibe off of you or something like that. But when your friends are down, that's when you really step up. You know, like Sister Edna said, it's not supposed to be just one-sided, where you calling a person. We got another elder. All the elders are calling in tonight. They got experience in this, so let's listen to Ima Avaret. Shalom, Ima.
Shalom. Praise the Most High Yah for the day and for Israel.
Hallelujah.
I was listening, and I have to say I agree with Ima Dina and Ima Sarah, and you know, I kind of understand where you know, the information that they were given. I think we've all been through a disappointment in you know, with people. It's hard to make friends when you become older, because everybody's kind of set in their ways. Usually your best friendships come at a younger age for some reason. But it's not impossible. Good friendships are where people are honest.
Right.
With about themselves and about the other people, and to give each other fair chance and opportunity to grow together.
Right. Right.
You know, I've had friendships where you know, they didn't work out so well.
Right.
And it's disappointing. You know, maybe it could have done a lot better, especially with Israel, if we have, like you say, if we have the right type of system in place,
Right.
where people are concerned when two Israelites are at odds with each other. We have to be concerned about that.
Right.
The Father, you know, from what I read in the Torah, my understanding is our relationships with each other are paramount in us returning to the Father.
Absolutely.
We have to figure that out.
Absolutely.
We have to, you know, but when people have gone through so much, they get suspicious, they pick up bad habits, it's hard to break. There's just a lot of things that go on, you know.
Right.
For me, I wish that once or twice that you know, the elderhood or the governing body could have stepped in. I think it could have made things a lot better. And it could have saved some things, because we got some wonderful people. We got some wonderful people, talented people. You know, everybody has that propensity and that, you know, they have it in, we have it in us to do what's right. We have it in us to be that unified body, and the nations know it. And that's why they put all these things on us, you know, to kind of tear up the family unit, because friendship is part of the family unit.
Right.
And but when somebody gets disappointed, it's not a good thing for us to turn and, you know, just turn away. When we hear gossip, we need to question that. Say, well, what's going on here?
Right.
Find out what's happening, because it's a good thing for them to keep the friendship. The Father talked about it all through the Torah, about us building our brotherhood and our sisterhood together.
Right.
And keeping, you know.
Right.
And that wasn't the case with me. You know, people just let things go because they were busy with whatever else they were doing, and the friendships fell to the side. I mean, I've been lied out, lied on, you know, just little petty stuff. You know, just because you try to maybe help somebody or counsel them, or they feel ashamed of something that they're doing, then they want to, you know, people just want to run around and talk because of their own feelings, their own insecurities.
Right.
You know, and they don't want to deal with that, so they want to push everything over on somebody else. So,
right.
In the end, what I have had to do was just allow the people to be to themselves, and I've had to move on and just let them be and let them wear themselves out. And usually when you wear yourself out, you come to the realization that you've made some mistakes, and you may not be able to repair that relationship with me, or maybe you can, but maybe you may be able to repair yourself, so the next relationship will fare a lot better.
Well,
so,
but Ima, I got a question, right?
Yeah.
But what if the stuff that's being said is so detrimental, and you know everyone doesn't react the same way? So, you know, some people it's like, man, you know, this person is slandering my name. They're saying this, they're saying that. And it's so, and what they're saying is so much of a lie, and it's so detrimental that you have an impulse, because everybody's temperament is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's temperament is not the same. How do you control that? What kind of advice would you give to a person who doesn't have that temperament, who might be in the right? And
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. This has come, Chief.
I'm here. I'm listening.
This has come to me at least twice, especially walking in the Israelite walk. It has come to me twice. Somebody that is insecure in their own life, and for whatever reason, did not like the fact that how I live. So
right.
They decided that it was better for them to defame me than to deal with their own inadequacies.
Right.
So all you can do is put your case out there.
Right.
And be the person that you are supposed to be. People see it.
Right.
People will be able to see who's who and what's what. It may take a little bit of time, but they will be able to see what's what, because I'm going to tell you something. When a person is wrong, that character, it follows them.
Right.
You know, and you can only state your case. You can take your case to if there's a governing body, take your case to the governing body and let them know. Or if it's on YouTube, you just put your information out there on YouTube, or you put your information out there on Facebook one time.
Right.
You talk to the Most High Yah, because the Most High Yah can change any and everything.
Right.
He changes hearts. He changes minds. He deals with people on a level that they have no power over.
Right.
So you take it to the Most High Yah, and you do what's right. And if you have to walk away, you walk away in righteousness. You don't be the bad guy. You walk away in righteousness, and you let him deal with it, because he can deal with things better than you ever could.
Right.
They'll try to repair a relationship. And then at that point, you guys might be able to do something. You may not. It just depends on how badly the situation came. But you don't have to harbor no hate for nobody. You don't have to harbor no ill will for them. I see people online. I mean, coming through, I'm just saying, I see things.
Right.
People think we don't see it because they're so busy inside of themselves.
Right.
But you can't be, two wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay. So you have to keep yourself, whether these people are lying on you, whether these people are defaming your name, you take this information to the brotherhood or the sisterhood, and we need a strong sisterhood. Y'all got to let us have a strong sisterhood because we can do a lot. And you take it, you bring that information, you let it be known, the facts of the case, and it's up to each individual because you can't stop a person from doing wrong.
Right.
You have no power over somebody else's mind. The Most High tell you that. You never know what's lurking in the hearts of men.
Right.
Only the Father knows that.
Right.
So you stay on the right. You put your case to the people that you need to put your case to. You ain't got to spread it over everybody, but if you feel that it's that bad that you have to respond on Facebook, you respond on Facebook.
Right.
I just had a case where a brother's gonna tell him, say, you ain't got no works in Israel. And then he said, I want to speak to your husband. So my husband came on and said, what you mean my wife doesn't have any work in Israel? My wife has worked tirelessly to try to find housing. My wife came to me and asked me, could she put up her own house for Israel? My wife has worked tirelessly trying to find housing for people and this and that and the other. And you know what the brother said? Oh, I ain't got time to read all that.
Oh, wow.
So this is what can you do? You're going to go and slap him upside the head?
Right.
We're not going to do that. Let the Most High deal with it.
Hallelujah.
That's all you can do.
Right.
That's all you can do. Because, people, I tell you this. We need to stop taking each other for granted.
Cain.
You ain't the baddest person on the camp because we all bad.
Right.
And we ain't the best person in the camp because we all good if we want to be.
Right.
We have to do what's right. We
Right.
have to do what's right. And let the chips fall where they may because and the bottom line is you got to be able to sleep good at night.
Absolutely.
If somebody else is out there worrying about you, tossing and turning, let them keep worrying.
Right. Absolutely, Ima.
But I agree with Ima Dina, Ima Sarah. Both of them was right. It would be good if we could go to the council, but you have to allow people to go to council.
Right.
A person has to be willing to accept what council has to give.
Right.
I went to council on an issue and I ain't heard nothing yet. That was back in March. So, but it wasn't with D.C.B. Let me just put that out there for somebody try to start something on that tip. Right. Okay. It wasn't with D.C.B.
I think the problem with Israel today is that we're not unified. So the problem is that all the different congregations have their own set of agendas. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's okay. That's okay. I don't wanna because we need, whether we together or not, we need to know that it's always good to be part of a collective. We're stronger in numbers than we are as individuals, and that's
absolutely. Absolutely.
The Father never expected Israel to be an individual. We have always been a collective.
Absolutely.
So the Torah teaches us to be a collective, and that's what we have to do. I disagree with some things, but they still my brothers, and I want the best for them.
Right.
I want the best for myself.
Right.
But yeah, we all get hurt, and we have to realize if we don't address these things, they don't get resolved. And like Ima Sarah say, people walk away.
Right.
And that's not a good thing.
Right.
I ran into a sister today. Hadn't seen her in many years, and just looking, I could tell that she had had walked away. I'm not sure why, but just a beautiful person. I just hate to see that she wasn't walking in the way.
Right.
But that's the way I see it. I'm nobody's fool.
Right.
I try to be nice because that's what I want to be. I want to be acceptable to the Most High, and I want the person that meets me. I want the person that meets me to walk away with good feelings and not bad feelings.
Right.
I can deal with the rest of that stuff. But don't think by no means I don't know when I'm being shifted or shafted. I know when you're playing the game.
Right.
But sometimes it ain't worth it to me to even mention it.
Right.
That's how it is. Well, anyway, that's all I have to say on the matter.
Thank you, Ima. Your words are always insightful, and you always bring forth wisdom. So I appreciate it.
Praise the Most High Yah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So there you have it. You got most of the people, and all elders, and everyone that called up has given a great, perspective and a great look at it, and that's experience. That's why I opened up the topic, because sometimes younger people don't deal with things that way. Oh, we got Chief Benaiah. You see, we got the elders calling in one right after the other. Shalom, Shabbat shalom, my brother.
Hello.
Shabbat shalom. How you doing?
Hello, it's daughter of Benaiah Rogers.
Oh, all right. I thought it was him. Go ahead, daughter. Let me hear what you got to say on this topic.
If it were me, and
all right, you might want to mute the computer in the background so you don't keep hearing the voices coming in later. So mute the computer in the background and then make your statement.
All right. If it were me and to other people, I would just hear it and let it go.
You would just hear it and let it go. Okay. And how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
You're 8 years old. So that's great. An 8-year-old is saying that they will hear it and let it go. So that's an example for all of us out there, that an 8-year-old is out here saying that she would, if someone did that to them, that was supposed to be their friends, and that they would just I guess talk to them and just let it go. And what's your name, daughter? Mia. All right, nice hearing from you. And tell your daddy I said shalom, okay?
Okay.
Shalom. Hey, shalom, what's up, Chief?
I'm told. Just take care of it, man. I appreciate it for sure, man.
Anytime, my brother.
Giving my daughter things to think about, man. Right? Just think about how to deal with it. I appreciate it.
Hallelujah. So you see, there you have it. You got people calling. They chiming in from 8 to 80. We got people calling in saying how they will deal with it. So, it says anger resteth in the bosom of a fool. And it says it's better to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and leave no doubt that you are a fool. So, and anger definitely. So when we deal with things in anger and wrath, then the Most High God would even if we were right, the Most High God will make us seem as wrong. When you slander people, when you character assassinate people, those are all wrong things. Those are things that are wrong before God and before man. And like Ima Alvarez said, she said that eventually when people are doing this to you, that their character begins to show. So people begin to see really who the person is. People really begin to see the character of the person. It's like I always tell people, I've had I had a few sisters approach me, that they like me and so and so and so. And I know it's the position that I'm in. What you see is what you what you see on camera and what you hear me say is what you like, but you don't really know the person. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people that, you got people. Now, I'm not saying like I'm a wicked person or anything like that. I got my faults. By all means, I have flaws. I have certain things that I have to work within myself that I know that I could do better. But I don't think that I'm like a wicked and way out there person. But nonetheless, is what I tell I always say is like, I'm flattered. I appreciate it. You know, I have a lot on my plate right now. But the thing is that you don't really know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get to know a person, not a character that you see. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that you see on the screen. You know, how you gonna deal with a person when they get angry? How you gonna deal? Are you able to put up with their ways and how they act and how they are and things like that? You might have fell in love with the way that they speak, and that's what you love about them. But the way that they speak doesn't necessarily mean that this is the person that they are. You know what I'm saying? I hope that y'all understand what I'm saying and what I'm trying to convey. And it's you know, that's the part. So sometimes, a lot of times, and I see this on Facebook a lot and on social media, sisters fall in love with what they see. They get a brother who does a Facebook Live. You like the way he speaks. You like the way that he could break down history, the way he could break down certain things in the Torah, and you think that this is the perfect man, and all you see is the character, and you see the persona and who that person is and who that person stands to be, and then you are infatuated with this person, and then all of a sudden you get into a relationship, and then you get into that relationship, then you realize this person is not the person that I see on the Facebook Live or on the YouTube. This is a whole different person. But you didn't take that time to really get to know that person. And then you get to see that their ways are not that great, or that their character is not that great, or that certain things about them you might not like, or you might not be able to live with it, because they're set in their ways. They set on doing things a certain way, and you're used to doing the things another way. And then they're not willing to compromise, anything. So now you're stuck in a relationship that you didn't um, really expect was going to turn out to be like this. You thought that you found your Romeo and you was his Juliet, and you realized that he's really a Taliban, and that's not what you was looking for. I got to keep it real. You got yourself a Taliban, and that's not what you wanted. You didn't want a Taliban. You know what I'm saying? So those things also we have to be careful with, and we have to understand. We have to look for balance in everything. Even in our friendships, we have to look balance. We have to look for balance. And when your friends tell you something, sometimes you know, and the other thing with friendship is stay out of people's relationships. Um, that's a fickle thing, you know. Um, Stay out of people's relationship and stop making comments on people's relationships. You could give advice, um, but learn to understand that relationships are sacred. Sometimes when your friend is crying out to you, it's better to do more listening than to talk about, especially when it comes to relationships, because every relationship is different. I always tell people this, like, don't look at my house, but don't look at someone else's house and then bring that stuff to your house. Because things in your house might not be like, I always tell people this, like, you go to one house and you got a husband that cooks, that knows how to cook. He he knows how to cook and he don't mind cooking and he cooks for his family and does all those type of things. And then you go to another house and that man don't even know how to boil an egg. But don't come home when you know you got a husband that doesn't know how to cook and say you should make an effort to learn how to cook. And and that's the problem. That's not how you met him. You know what I'm saying? That's not the way he is. That's not what he does. He might be great in something else. You know what I'm saying? And what that when you went to that other house and you seen that husband cooking, he might be great in that, and he might be good in that setting. But then your husband is the type that if you live in a house, he could fix anything in the house. But that guy who cooks or whatever, and I'm not emasculating the guy who cooks because he might know how to do certain things, but he might not know how to. Your husband might be a carpenter, could fix up the whole house. So that's the value. You know what I'm saying? That's what you marry. You marry somebody that's a person like that, and then this other person marries someone for whatever it is that they are. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that we have to keep in mind. And like I said, sometimes the friendship comes from our spouses. Sometimes they end up being our best friends. They end up being the people that we could communicate with and we could talk to. Um, I think something that's also important is keep pillow talk to a minimum, especially when friends confide in you. Um, you need to be careful how you disseminate information that friends give you, right? Because if you're a friend and they giving you something and something and they confiding in you in something, it's not good to always um, give it to your significant other because they confided in you. So if your friend comes to you about a situation that's going on in his home, it's not right to to spill that out to your significant other because they confided in you. And if you give, especially you give your word in certain things like that, we have to be careful with all those things because those things are essential to building a nation and to keeping things going smoothly and for trust. Sometimes you need to trust someone. And certain things that people have told me will go with me to the grave because they've asked me to keep it in confidence, not to repeat it. And sometimes in anger, and I always say this, sometimes when you're angry, right? Like, and I always say this because this also saves friendships. If we have common friends, right? Like we have circles of friends. You get one friend that's angry with another friend, and then that friend comes to you and vents about that other friend. That you're all in the circle, but they vent. Oh, this guy lent the money. He's always asking me for money. Or this girl, she's always doing this. She's always doing that. But they're venting, but you know that they're good friends. But they're venting to a common friend. You, as that common friend, is not for you to bring it back to that other party and say, oh, so and so was saying this about you, was saying that about you. Sometimes they just venting and then they're going to work it out themselves. It's best to just listen to what they have to say, try to give them a something to resolve it, and then keep whatever the vent was to yourself because they were just venting. We're humans, we do that. We vent sometimes. So those are things we also have to be aware of. Those are things we have to keep in mind. Those are things that we have to keep in our thoughts and our memories and what's going to preserve us as a people. um Man, I was reading this stuff today, and since the sun goes down so early, it seems like we got time, and I don't feel as tired. I got to relax. Um, I was reading this really interesting, um, the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, Ben Sirach, um, chapter 26, verse 29 says, A merchant can hardly keep from wrongdoing, nor is a tradesman innocent of sin. Many have committed sin for gain, and those who seek to get rich will avert their eyes. So, a merchant can hardly keep from wrongdoing. Meaning, when you are in the business of selling, when you're in the business of dealing with people, and you're doing certain things, that's why it says a just weight and a just balance as Jehovah's delight, because the Most High wants us to do things fairly, right? So if you sell a certain amount of product to one person, don't give another person a little bit extra because you like them better, right? So here it says a merchant can hardly keep from wrongdoing, nor is a tradesman innocent of sin. Why? Because in most instances, people like this, they always give extra to people. You know what I'm saying? That they like. And what it's saying is that don't do this. It's telling you to be fair, to have a just weight and a just balance. That's Torah. Many have committed sin for gain, and those who seek to get rich avert their eyes. So people who seek to get rich, meaning you will turn your eyes to a wrongdoing to have some gain, some monetary gain for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it might be. I was always a stickler for there used to be guys by the in New York City especially, used to be people that used to stand by gas station when this credit card scam stuff first started happening. And they would stand there and fill up your tank for for half price of what it costs for you to fill your tank up if you was coming to fill it up, and if you was coming to fill it up with cash. And I understood that that was wrong because someone's identity was stolen in order for this person to be able to do this and get this unrighteous gain in their pocket. So these are all the things that we have to be careful with. The stuff that fall off the truck, the stuff that, all these things we have to be careful of. They got a lot of people that are into these things. You got Israelites that are into these things and cashing out and stealing people's identities. Listen, if the key word in that is stealing or stole. If when you steal, even if you're stealing an identity, you have stolen. Even if you didn't take something physically, you have stolen something, and now you're going to put someone in a bad predicament. That's the effects of stealing and robbing. You put someone in a bad predicament. You're taking something away from someone that does not belong to you. So those are things that we have to be careful with, and those are the things that we have to be aware of, and we always have to think of that we cannot be in that same in the vein or in the on the statue of before unrighteousness. We have to clear ourselves from that, and also and always keep ourselves clean and our hands clean. Listen, how many of you have had your identity stolen? How many of you, someone has charged something to your debit card, into your credit card, or has taken out your money out of it just by a show of one, pressing the number one? Just let me know how many of you this has happened to. It's happened to me, you know, happened to me. Got the number one up there, right? Is there still a high pitched sound going on behind, or is the sound clear? Can everybody hear me clearly on Facebook? If you can, please give me a thumbs up, a heart. Give me something. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? On Facebook Live, on YouTube, wherever you might be. Can you hear me clearly? Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Want to know if are y'all tuned in? Where my people at? Are y'all tuned in? Where y'all at? I don't see y'all responding out there. Man, I just totally neglected my people on YouTube. I don't even know what they're writing. Sorry. All right, so everybody on YouTube can hear me clearly. All right, so there's still a pitch in the background. Wow, I wonder where that's coming from. I don't hear anything over here that will give a high pitch in the background. Buzzing on YouTube. Okay. Give me 1 second here. All right. Let's see here. I'm good on YouTube. All right. So guess what? It was a so-called friend. High pitch sound still there. No. Join. There's still a high pitch whistle. I hear a high pitched sound. Still have noise and maybe interference from cell phone transmission. Yeah, pitch still here. But I could hear you though. Join. All right, so whatever that is, I don't know what that is, but whatever it is what it is. Hopefully I could figure it out. But yeah, so we have to be careful with that. Let me see. Verse 2. Now we're in chapter 27, verse 2 of Ben Sirach, or the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. As a stake is driven firmly into a fixture between stones, so sin is wedged in between selling and buying. So it's telling you basically like a tent peg is wedged firmly between two stones to keep the tent firm so that it won't blow away. It says, so also is a person, so is sin wedged in between selling and buying. Like there's always going to be some funny business going on. But we could avert that by keeping the laws of the Most High God and dealing with a just weight and a just balance. It doesn't mean that we have to be like that, because we know Torah. So Torah teaches us not to deal in that manner or in that way, but to deal justly in everything that we do. Even when it comes to judging between people, even if a person is your friend, it is our duty to judge justly before the Most High God and to judge right before God. If a person is not steadfast in the fear of Yah, his house will be quickly overthrown. So we have to be steadfast in the fear of Yahweh. That means that we have to keep his law, statutes, and commandments and walk in them so that our homes won't be overthrown. Sometimes you get adversity within the home. Sometimes adversity is in a spouse, children, whatever it might be, sibling, whoever in your family becomes a foe. But you have to stay steadfast because tests come to us all, and when we get tested, we have to be able to withstand that test and move forward and be able to sustain and be able to keep our trust in the Most High God and not give in, but allow the Most High God to continue to strengthen us and keep us within that right path, which is the keeping of the Torah. Verse 4. When a sieve is shaken, the refuse appears. So do a person's falls when he speaks. Right? So just like when you get a sieve, like you remember grandma back in the days, or today when she take the flour and sieve it, and the hard part of the flour stay back, it says so it, and that's the refuse. That's the stuff that you don't want. It says so do a person's faults when he speaks. So it is like all you got to do is wait for a person's faults when they speak. It's like sort of what we were speaking about earlier, like that character begins to come out. Like a person does certain things to you, or they putting out certain things out there about you, or they saying certain things about you, which is to assassinate your character. And they trying to make the lies or the gossip that they putting out there about you seem to be true. But then by their character and the way that they carry themselves, right? The way that they speak, you begin to see, no, the fault is not with that person, it's with that person. Is the one that put the gossip out there. I could see that person's character. I could see his character. I could see her character. You know what I'm saying? Just by them opening their mouth. So in terms of Most High God brings us vindication by us not even doing anything, like the elders were saying. Like sometimes you don't have to say anything. You approach it, you tell the person why they saying these things about you, but then you'll be vindicated by their own mouths because their character will begin to come out. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Says here, the kiln tests the potter's vessels. So the test of a person is in his conversation. So the kiln is like the fire, right? It tests a potter's vessel to see if the potter's vessel is strong enough, right? So the test of a person is in his conversation. So you get to judge a person by the way that they speak, what they speak about, what they converse about, what is it that they bring forth, whether it's wisdom or whether it's folly. That's how you test a person. Its fruit discloses the cultivation of a tree. So a person's speech discloses the cultivation of his mind. So a tree's fruit determines how well that tree was taken care of. So if you fertilized the apple tree, if you did all the right things, you pruned, you did certain things, man, those fruits will come out nice and healthy and big. But if you didn't do that, the fruits might not be as juicy, might not be as sweet or whatever because you neglected in that, right? So a person's speech discloses the cultivation of his mind. So be very keen about what you say around people because people will determine what type of person you are by what comes out of your mouth. And people are judging what comes out of your mouth in order to realize what type of person that you are. So if you're a person that constantly uses profanity and vulgarity when you meet people, and this is the way you introduce yourself, that's how you're going to be deemed, or that's how you're going to be perceived as a vulgar and ignorant person. But if you always got the word of God, or you have some good things to say to people, or you're always doing things or giving goodly speech, then the people are going to look at you and say, well, this person definitely is on a different level, and they look at things and they look at you on a different level rather than look at you as that ignorant person and say, this person has nothing to offer. You know what I'm saying? So those are things we have to be careful with. Let me get a water here. Just need a water. Good night tonight. Good night. I feel good tonight. I feel like speaking tonight. Usually I'll be all tired, but I got to rest up today. I got to lay down and my body got to recuperate, and I feel good. I feel good this week. Between yesterday and today, I feel good. I had these days off. Do not praise anyone before he speaks, for this is the way people are tested. So don't praise anyone. Don't say, oh man, this is my good friend and you just met him. Oh, this is a buddy of mine. No. Let people prove themselves by the way that they speak. Now, we're talking about new people that come in. Now, you might have a group of friends, and I mean, fellas and ladies, you might have groups of friends, and in that group of friends, because I'm just being real. In that group of friends, you got people that always joking or saying certain things, but that's your enclosed group. You understand each other. I'm not talking about that. It's talking about new people that come in the midst of you, how they present themselves, or people that are newly, in a congregation or whatever, how they present themselves. But you got your friends that you've been around for 25, 30 years. You might say things to each other that if you say it to someone else, it's going to offend them, but you know each other and you just laugh it. You laugh it off. You know what I'm saying? So it's not talking about that. It's talking about those people that newly come around you, and this is how you test them out. All right. Verse 8, if you pursue justice, you will attain it and wear it like a glorious robe. So if you pursue justice, you will attain it, right? If you pursue the righteousness and the just in a matter, you're gonna the just course in a matter, you're gonna attain it. Birds roost with their own kind, so honesty comes home to those who practice it, right? So as birds of the same feather always flock together, so honesty comes home to those who practice it. So if you practice honesty, people are going to be honest with you. So for example, if you're the type of person that if you find a phone, you find a wallet, whatever, you don't like returning it, you get the phone and you wait for the person to disconnect it, and then you go and take it to the pawn shop and get money for it because you say, oh, they could get a new phone. They not looking for this phone. You don't even make an effort. You know what I mean? So now when you lose your phone, don't expect the Most High God to call someone to bring it back to you. You know how many times that happened to you that you lost your phone. In this society, most people don't return phones that are lost, but some people are honest and return it. Some people are honest and return. Like last year, I was driving go on Shabbat going to the camp, um, and in the middle of the road, I seen a woman's purse, like in the middle of what's that over there, Coney Island Avenue. As I was going to services on a Shabbat morning, I seen a purse. So as I'm going down, I'm turning into the street. There's another car that's going straight. He pulls up ahead of me. He saw the purse. So the guy's getting out. So I tell a young guy who's crossing the street, hey, can you grab that for me? That's mine. So I picked it up. And the other guy that was getting out the car to come get the purse, I don't know what was his intentions, but I know me as a God-fearing person, and me being an honest person, and me being a servant of Yah, and having my children in the car, my two sons. I told my youngest son, I said, I'm going to give you my phone. Now I want you to, the lady's name she had her ID in there, and she had some money and credit cards. I said, look up this name on Facebook. You know, uh, so we looked it up, left her a message. Happened to find her on Facebook, left her a message, um, and told her, after our services is done, in the nighttime, we'll come by and drop off the purse. So because the ID had her address on it. She lived right in around, in Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, over there in Flatbush, the community of Flatbush in Brooklyn. So as when the sun went down, I showed my son, I said, come on, we're going to go take her purse. We went to that building, rung the bell. The lady wasn't home, but her daughter was, but she knew that we were coming. You know what I'm saying? Because I left a message on Facebook and I explained to her, this is how much money was in your purse. We're going to return it. You don't have to worry. We got it, but it's our Sabbath. And when our Sabbath is over, then we'll take it to you. And the daughter opened the door and we gave it to her. And that was a lesson for my son to show him that what you find in the streets, that doesn't belong to you. The Most High caused you to find it so you could return it to that person. Remember one time I was in Jersey in Bayonne, and I found a lady's credit card. I did the same thing. I went on YouTube because that's social media could be great in certain things also. So I called the lady. No, I contacted the lady on Facebook. I seen where she was from. She was from Bayonne. So I contacted her, sent her a Facebook message. Hey, I found your credit card over here by this building, blah, 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 in front of this office. She said, yeah, I went to the doctor over there. Don't worry about that. I canceled that credit card already, so you could just get rid of it for me. I said, no problem. I took it home and I shredded it. You know what I'm saying? Because she obviously, if I'm calling her to tell her about her credit card, she know I'm not trying to steal her credit card information or any of that. And I'm not saying all these things just to make. I'm not saying all these things just to make myself seem like I'm this super nice guy. You know, I don't think I'm a super nice guy, but it's the practice of Torah that allows you to do that. Everybody doesn't do that. Now, there was another time when I was in Connecticut and I found a bank envelope with $1,000 in it. Somebody just took $1,000 from the bank and they dropped it in the middle of the streets. The bank envelope didn't have no receipts in it, like like retrieve, like the receipts when you get from the bank after you take the money out the ATM or anything like that. And I had it in my hand. I went and did what I had to do. When I came back, I said, well, if I see someone that's looking around or whatever, I'm going to be like, well, did you lose anything? And then if they tell me what they lost and how much it was, then, I'll hand them the envelope. And I called the brother. I spoke to a brother. I was like, man, you weren't, what I was going to do, what I was going to do. He was like, I was like, man, you wouldn't, I told him, I said, man, you wouldn't believe what just happened to me. I said, I found this bank envelope with $1,000 in it. And this is not a lie. I'm telling you straight up. I always find money. And he said, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm in Connecticut and it don't have it wasn't in a wallet. It wasn't in an envelope. It wasn't in it didn't have a receipt in it or anything. Brother told me, he said, I said, I'm gonna stand all right. He said, man, he said, that's your blessing, man. He said, get up out of here. He said, what you gonna wait for? I had to laugh at that one. So no one came and claimed it, and I made out with it. I gave the brother a couple of hundred, and then that was it. So the Most High also blesses you. I look at that as a blessing because who am I going to return that money to? Like, I'm going to ask all of Connecticut. Somebody's going to say, I lost money. But, unfortunate for that person. But maybe at that point, the Most High God just said, you need it, son, so take it. You know what I mean? And I looked at it as a blessing. And there's been situations where I have returned things that I found and giving it back to people. I make it my business to do that sort of stuff. So, it's just different levels of things. That's all, different levels of things. It says here, verse 10, a lion lies in wait for prey. So does sin for evildoers. So just like a lion couched down and he's looked for that for that impala, you know what I'm saying? Whatever he's looking for, he's hunting in that out there in that jungle. So does sin for evildoers. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the Most High God told Cain at the beginning. He said, if you let it enter, he said it couch at the door. He said, but you could rule over it. We could all rule over sin by our practices and the things that we do. But we have to practice goodness in order to rule over sin. We're not going to rule over everything, but we have to be able to put things into practice in order to rule over the things that are so bad and detrimental to us. So those are things that we have to keep in mind. The conversation of the godly is always wise, but the fool changes like the moon. So the conversation of the godly are always steady and are always wise. You're always getting something productive from godly people. They're not going to be telling you foolishness, and they're not going to be guiding you or putting you in the wrong path. But the fool changes like the moon, like the faces of the moon. You don't know. You don't know what face they're going to give you today. They're not consistent. But a wise person and a godly person, they are consistent. And you're going to always get a consistent message from them. So those are the people that you need to watch for. There's some people that give you the impression that they're godly and they seem like they're consistent because they seem so stern with certain things. But just look at their actions and look at how they move. Don't look at what you perceive to be godly and righteous, but look at a person's actions and how they move, and that's going to tell you who they really are. Those are the people who are going to tell you who they really are. They change like the moon. They change like the phases of the moon. Among stupid people, limit your time, but among thoughtful people, linger on. So that's self-explanatory. Around stupid people, limit your time. Hey, what's up? What's going on? You know your friends is into all types of foolishness and stupidity. Don't hang on that corner for too long, because you might catch the bad one. Huh? Says, but among thoughtful people, linger on. People that are going to give you food for thought. People that are going to give you things to think about and to carry on, and things that are going to be helpful for your life. Linger around those people. Don't linger around the foolish people, because your mentality and everything else is just going to be deteriorated. You know what I'm saying? It's like there was a saying. He said, if you hang around 9 broke people, you bound to be the 10th one. Right? You don't. That's why you see people with money tend to hang with people with money, because they don't want to end up being broke. I mean, that's just natural course of life. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Kind of to preserve yourself. Because if you, out of all your friends, out of all the 10 of y'all, you're the only one with money, you're going to be paying to go here. You're going to be paying to do this. And before you know it, you're going to be broke, because you're taking care of everyone. So you have to use wisdom. The talk of fools is offensive, and their laughter is wantonly sinful. Their cursing and swearing make one's hair stand on end, and their quarrels make others stop their ears. The strife of the proud leads to bloodshed, and their abuse is grievous to hear. So the strife of the proud leads to bloodshed, because there are always contentions, and they don't know how to resolve matters, like how we were talking about earlier, where we say you speak to a person, and then come in, you need a water. So the talk of a person, when you see them, put that in the kitchen. Azaria brought that. So the talk of a person is a proud person. They just, because of their pride, they can't let certain things go. You know what I'm saying? Because of their pride, they do certain things, and they act out certain ways, and then that leads to bloodshed. Because of one way or the other, they are the way that they are. They do the things that they do, and then from there, boom, you come to a point of contention, and then there's bad blood, and before you know it, blood is being shed, and you never want to get to that point. But we have to forsake pride. The Most High God tells us to forsake pride. Solomon tells us to forsake pride. That is no good. It says here, and their abuse is grievous to hear. Whoever betrays secrets destroys confidence and will never find a congenial friend. You hear that? That's what I was speaking about earlier, about when someone confides in you, right? Or when someone is venting to you about another friend, a common friend, that you don't go back and say that, right? Whoever betrays secrets destroys confidence, right? Because sometimes if people confide in you, you're not supposed to reveal that, not even to your significant other. Like, that's not your job to do that, because they confide in you with something that happened, right? And they don't expect you to say it to someone else so it could get out there. And I would never find congenial friend. And then you wonder why I don't have friends. Why my friends left me? Why my friends abandoned me? Because maybe you run your mouth too much. Maybe you talk too much about things that you don't need to be talking about. So those are the things that we also have to be careful with. We have to be careful with how we run our mouths and what we put out there about each other. We have to be careful about that. Love your friend and keep faith with him. But if you betray his secrets, do not follow after him. You hear that? Everything we were speaking about earlier. But if you love your friend and keep faith with him, meaning it doesn't mean that you got to be a yes man or a yes woman. It means that as a friend, You have to be a friend. There's certain parameters that come with friendship. And those parameters that come with friendship should not be crossed. Meaning talking about each other behind each other's backs, certain things. If you have a problem or issue, you approach each other with it. That's what friends do. Not blasting people's whatever you feel about a person because you're upset with them, you blast it on social media and you talk bad about everybody. Then it shows what your character is, you know. It says, for as a person destroys his enemy, so you have destroyed the friendship of your neighbor. Yeah, when you start betraying that confidence, friends become foe. A friend become a foe because of the words that come out of your lips. And as you allow a bird to escape from your hand, so you have let your neighbor go and will not catch him again. So as you have allowed a bird, like if you have a bird, right? And if you had this bird caged up in your house, but the bird flies. So you decide you take the bird cage outside and you're trying to do something and somehow the bird cage gets open, that bird is gone. You're not going to be caged up no more. You know what I'm saying? So it is when you offend a friend, that friendship will never come back anymore. So watch how you keep your friendships and how you cultivate your friendships and who you cultivate them with and what you do with those friendships because it's detrimental. It could become detrimental to you if you don't do things right or in the right way. Are y'all still with me? I hope that I'm making plenty of sense and I'm hoping that you understanding what I'm trying to say because this is important, people. It says here, 20, do not go after him, for he is too far off and has escaped like a gazelle from a snare. So yeah, don't try to pursue him and or pursue her because that as they say, that ship has sailed, right? That's water under the bridge. For a wound may be bandaged, and there is reconciliation after abuse. But whoever has betrayed secrets is without hope. Very important. It's imperative. Friendships are a lot. You know, friendships are built on the trust that you have for one another. So if you go revealing your friend's secrets, you're gonna lose that friend. And those are things that we have to keep in mind. Whoever winks the eye plots mischief, and those who know him will keep their distance. In your presence, his mouth is all sweetness, and he admires your words. But later he will twist his speech, and with your own words he will trip you up. So you have to be careful of these people also that call themselves your friends, but they wink behind they wink behind your back. You say you got to keep your distance from them. In your presence, his mouth is all sweetness. So this is the fake friend. You know, they boost you up, they gas you up, and they always around you and yeah, and this is my buddy, and it seems like they're your real friend, but behind your back they talk trash and they stab you. Those are not true friends. No matter how long you knew them, no matter how long you've been with them, those are not your friends. Because your friend's not going to do that to you. Saying with your own words, he will trip you up, meaning you have confided in them in something that was secret. Like I said, you might have vented to them about something, and then they put it out there to hurt you. You know, they put it out there to come at you or to destroy your character. But those are not true friends. And those are the people that we have to be aware of. I have hated many things, but him above all. Even the Lord hates him. Hate this type of people. Whoever throws a stone straight up throws it on his own head, and a treacherous blow opens up many wounds. So when you throw a stone straight up in the air, it falls on your head, right? And a treacherous blow opens up many wounds. And a treacherous blow opens up many wounds, meaning you hit somebody with a stick or something, or you do, it's going to open up many wounds. So it is with the words, right? With the words that you say about a person, or about a person that you consider to be a friend. We have to be careful with those things, right? Because they become like blows, you know. Sometimes words hurt more than somebody hitting you. You know what I mean? Because those words are there forever, you know. So those are the things that we have to keep in mind. It says here, whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and whoever sets a snare will be caught in it, right? So when people are looking to set you up, when people are looking to ensnare you and to put you in something or whatever, they don't understand that they preparing that for their own selves, right? When they dig that hole, they dig that grave for their own selves, because things will start coming in reverse. People, I always say about Israel, right? And some segments of Israel, you try to rewrite history, what history really was. You know what I'm saying? But there always comes someone that comes and sets it straight, because you can't you can't lie on something that was already established. And some people try to rewrite or try to redo what, or try to reinvent what was already there, or what was already created by the ancient fathers, or what was created by the generations, couple of generations before us, or a generation before us, and try to make it fit into their own narrative. And you can't do that. That's also deception. You can't do that. You can't change the narrative to fit you. You can't do that. The narrative is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The narrative is like trying to change the history of Israel. Back in the days, our forefathers were idol worshippers. You know what I'm saying? Now you try to clean all that up and try to say, no, they weren't. This is how they were. And, no, that's what they were. That's what the history is there for. You know what I'm saying? But people are afraid of that. People don't like, they don't like to touch that. It says, if a person does evil, it will roll back upon him, and he will not know where it came from. So when you do evil, it usually comes back to you. Mockery and abuse issue from the proud. Issue Mockery and abuse issue from the proud, but vengeance lies in wait for them like a lion. Those who rejoice in the fall of the godly will be caught in a snare, and pain will consume them before they death. Hallelujah. So I hope that you've gotten something out of the lesson tonight. I hope that the talk tonight was informative. It was something that you could that you could take with you, and something that you learned from. Maybe it was something that could fill you, that could help you in whatever situation you might be in. Hoping and praying that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be with you all. May everyone have a great Shabbat sleep, Shabbat night sleep, and also may everyone be blessed, and looking forward for everyone to join us tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. as we will continue with our Shabbat service, morning service, and later in the afternoon at 3 p.m. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom. Everyone have a good night. Thank to all the callers who called in tonight. I learned something from each and every one of you. May even from the 8-year-old daughter who called in, I learned from her, because for a youngster to speak the way that she spoke, it really speaks volumes of her mentality, and it speaks volumes of her parents and how they have reared her up and brought her up. So I thank the Most High God for each and every one of you. May the Most High God bless each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom. Hallelujah.